Good day everyone, especially to you Mama Kebenta. We are the Group 4 and proudly presents our members, Miss Julie Darunday, Miss Alicia Lee Coscos, Miss Yana Cagas, and of course yours truly, Mr. Vincent Ray Tampes. And today, we are about to tackle the problem solving and creativity. And gotta know its importance, its definition, and how does it affect us as a human being or in our daily lives. But before we proceed to our discussion proper, let's have first a motivation game called Word Scrabble. I know most of you or some of you are very familiar with this kind of game, and I hope you will catch up and learn something. So here are the mechanics. So first, arrange the Scrabble letters to form a word, of course. And second, if you want to answer, just raise your hand and state your family name. Since it is a recorded discussion, just answer it na lang in your mind. So now, let's play the game! Guess the Scrabble words. Problem solving. Creativity. Brainstorming. Framework. Convergent. And among those 5 words being arranged and being mentioned, it all relates to our topic for today, which is the problem solving and creativity.
So before we'll move on to our discussion, let me first read the objectives. So the first objective is that explain the 4 criteria of creativity by Torrance. Second, practice creative thinking and apply problem-solving skills.
So we have this, a diagram. So in the middle, it clearly shows the problem solving and creativity. And in the left, or its main topic, related topics, the Torrance Creativity Framework. And for the information of everyone, is created by Edward Paul Torrance. So take note of that. And in the right side, the creative problem solving. And in the Torrance Creativity Framework, it has subtopics, which is the fluency, the flexibility, the elaboration, and the originality. And in the right side, the creative problem solving, which relates to the 6 stages of CPS. And later on, we will know what is really the fluency, the flexibility, and so on and so forth. So just sit back, relax, and be thrilled for our topic for today. So first is the Torrance Framework for Creative Thinking. So framework is like a structure. What could be the structure of creative thinking? So it states there that a common framework for creative thinking process is described by Torrance in 1979, of course. Each aspect is defined along with ways to facilitate the respective aspect by using keywords and application of activities. So listen very well, because later on, these keywords and application activities will be showed on. Next is the fluency. The subtopics of the Torrance Creative Thinking Framework. So, fluency. It states that it refers to the production of a great number of ideas or alternative solutions to a problem. It implies understanding, not just remembering information that is learned. So it is our ability to generate a lot of ideas, not just necessarily different. So if you are you have this fluency, then you are a fluent thinkers. And fluent thinkers is a hitchhike of one idea to come up with many more ideas. What does it mean? You are traveling. You are just like traveling to just not just one idea but to another ideas also. Let's say, for example, in a research, you are tasked to research about geography as a group. And of course, you are not just contributing just by yourself, but of course, you are catering. You are considering a lots of ideas coming from your group mates. And that is called brainstorming. In fluency, brainstorming is very important. Why? Why does this fluency matter? Because the first step to a problem solving or generating anything creative in having many ideas as possible to choose from. Di na siya nagpasabot nga daghang ideas, share, brainstorming, I will cater the kind of ideas of yours. No, we will choose what is the best. We will choose what is good for the betterment of us. For the betterment sa tanan. That's a time that is called creativity. We are not just molding something that is good, but we are molding something creative. Like in a problem, sa mga problema, nagalaghan mo gatabang, then maghatag mo mga ideas ana. And once makakam up ka ana, of course, masulbanin mo ang isa ka problema. Another example is, kana sa Christmas party bitaw, in a Christmas party, you are asked to suggest unsay mga theme sa atong party. And all of you suggested na dapat mag-formal, dapat mag-casual, or mag-bikini attire if sa beach, or mag-pajama. And due to karabitang paghatag-hatag ng ideas, you can come up what is the best. You can come up what is creative. And it loosens up the creative will. Like I said a while ago, if you are sharing ideas, kamutanan, then you can have a creative and rightful decisions para sa tanan. Then the school tends to make students seek one correct answer instead of considering multiple possibilities. And this is nice about fluency, Mansad. Kay you are sharing ideas at the same time imo sad piliin anahan nila ang sakto. You are choosing what's the best choice. And that's I highly emphasize in the fluency. Then the keywords: compare, convert, count, define, describe, explain, identify, match, name, paraphrase, predict, and summarize. So take note the keywords. Next is its application of activities. Di ba hingon ko ganiha? If na keywords, natay keywords, nasa tayo application of activities. And it is nice, di ba? Dili ta makatag basta-basta og definition, dili lang ta makatag og examples, but of course, muhatag ta og application of activities. How can we apply this thing, fluency? How can we apply this kind of aspect, man? So, here are the activities given. Trace the picture and label the parts. Yes, this is very important to avoid misunderstanding and what say confusions mahitabo. Outline an article you find in your topic to have a synchronized and arranged topic. Then, how many uses can you think of for a clothes hanger? Then, list of 15 things that are commonly read or contain red. So, apple, blood, brie, carbool, cherry, Christmas. This was the suggestions man or relates man sa cloth hanger. Mura sad siya og kanang for example about sa bottle. Ano sabi mga gamit sa mga bottle? Brainstorming na sad. Makagamit siya magag vase. Makagamit siya sila nagbunga ballpen. Magagamit siya butag parol, di ba? Mga Christmas lights, mga lanterns. That's it. So I hope all of you understand the meaning of fluency, sharing of ideas to make something creative. Next is flexibility. So states that it refers to the production of ideas that show a variety of possibilities or realms of thought. It involves the ability to see things from the different point of views, to use many different approaches and strategies. It is the ability to look something from different angle or point of view, shifting an opposing viewpoint, angle, direction, chronology, modality, putting yourself in someone's shoes. This may mo acquire kasagaring flexibility. Di ba makatagog-tag na yung flexibility sa work, sa job. Oy, flexible man na siya mo trabaho, oy, flexible man na sa isang mga ACADS. But when you say flexibility in relation to problem solving and creativity, lahi siya. Kaya kini siya, mag-base siya sa imong perspective, sa imong point of view. And makita na to siya sa mga debate, di ba? Sa mga position paper. Let's say for example, what is it really important to have technology in the society? And me, as a student, of course, I would agree na technology is really important kaya makatabang man na siya not just in my academics but also sa mga business transactions and communication. And lahisad ang ika-comment sa uban. Lahisad ang i-comment niya, nimo. Lahi-lahi matag mga situations and experiences, lahi-lahi tag mga perspective. Maybe ang uban mo ingon na technology is not important because books is important. Maybe ang uban sa technology man na importante kay makasakit mo na siyang mata. It will just change your attitude, positive attitude into negative. Lahi-lahi tag perspective. Nga nasad na when it comes to creativity. If you have this flexible attitude, flexible thinking, then makakapagtaog rightful decisions. So, like sa example na ganiha about sa Christmas party. Once nga mo suggest ka og mga daghang ideas, that is fluency. But once I explain or my point of view, manong ka na ang ipili nga ideas, murag i-categorize ba na hang sa kawutang, that's the time that you are using your flexible thinking. Manong pajama mo to siya. Kaning pajama magud siya kay very comfy kayo gamiton. Manong formal siya para dili na hassle or something like that. You are demonstrating. You are interpreting og unsa na to siya. Then so keywords, take note. Na change, demonstrate, distinguish, employ, extrapolate, interpret, and predict. So again, always remember, if you are a flexible thinkers, you're able to play a devil's advocate. Manong devil's man? Nakasaba ka? Did you commit something? Did you commit something bad? Dili. You are opposing someone's side. Just like in our organization, bitaw. In our organization, let's say for example, an SSG. Dili mahimo og positive side ra mo tanan. Wala, murag bias siya. Dili mo mulambo kay puro ra mo positive. If walay mo oppose, dili ta mo improve. Like for example, mo nga ako makatabang ni siya para sa tanan. Kaningan. Like say for example, kaning activity. Then mo atong isa, yes makatabang na siya. If mo agree tanan, sana may atong progress ani. Kinsa may mo kontra. Dapat na ay mga adik ni siya okay nga ni mo ang mahitabo nga chuchu nga na ang thought. Then so application ideas, what would happen if there were no automobiles? Daghang perspective ang makatubag ani. How would a dog look to a flea? How is blank like a blank? How would you feel if you were invisible in a day? How would you group the ideas about red into categories? Food, safety features, vehicles. So there are unclear examples. Once categories are identified, fluency may be further demonstrated by generating more ideas about the idea read within categories. Now, categories, red food, red safety features, and red vehicles. And since imo man na siyang gi-share ideas like apple, cherry, raspberry, thus is fluency. Even in the modest attempt could result in the following rules, recognizing that the creative thinking process may shift the mind in a spiral way between all four aspects of creativity. Once you categorize something, flexibility. Once you share the ideas in that category, fluency. So that's it. That ends my report. Thank you so much.
A pleasant day to everyone. I am Julie Endarunday. So for now, I will continue discussing the Torrance framework for creative thinking. So what is elaboration? Elaboration is the process of
enhancing ideas by providing more details. Additional detail and clarity improves interest in and understanding of the topic. So, absolutely, through elaborating and by providing more details to the student, they could really understand the topic, right? And in order for the students to understand, you should give a relatable examples. So, and also you should explain to them so that they could understand clearly and understand what's the purpose of the topic or in the context, and also they could gain more knowledge, no, on what's the topic all about. And then elaboration, no, you should add more details, and by that the students could grasp and learn, no, the topic. On the other hand, no, elaboration, you should give or add more details in it and the topic in order to be understandable, and the students might have an interest so that they could give also their opinions. So here are the keywords for elaboration. We have appraise, critic, determine, evaluate, grade, judge, measure, select, and test. So these keywords are used for making our learning objectives. And in making our learning objectives, now we should use it appropriately. Dapat mutokma siya. And since the learning objectives will guide the students' learning processes, so these keywords are significant. So next we have application ideas. So tell your neighbor about your last family trip using as many details as possible. Let's say we went to Baguio City with my family to have a vacation, and then we ate lots of strawberries, and after that we had our road trip and so on. And then what can you add to your miniature to improve its quality or performance? Another thing, describe all the possible characteristics of the red quality in a wagon. Example, the shade, finish, texture, and the uniformity. And next, we have the last Torrance framework for creative thinking. So, originality, it involves the production of ideas that are unique or unusual. It involves synthesis or putting information about a topic back together in a new way. On the other hand, originality, you should put ideas that are unique. There should be uniqueness in it. It involves or synthesis, or you should put information about the topic through a new way. So in originality, you should apply, no, the uniqueness or original of the topic, or you put information that there should be originality. Basically, if you notice in the revised Bloom taxonomy, so where is the originality there? Is it in the lower order thinking skills or in the higher order thinking skills of the creativity? Okay, di ba, nana siya dapit sa higher order thinking skills. So it means the level of students needed, no, is in the higher order thinking skills. So in short, originality is already in the metacognitive part. So the higher order thinking skills, no. And in fact, as you have noticed, the verbs are difficult, like compose, no. And then there are keywords of originality, which include compose, create, design, generate, integrate, modify, rearrange, reconstruct, reorganize, and revise. So we have the application ideas. So find an original use for the telephone. And then what would be the strangest way to get out of bed? Like, for example, sleep talking or sleepwalking and so on. So ginday, for example, no, strangest way to get out of bed, no. And then design a new portfolio that is better than the one you have. And then also, write an unusual title for the ideas about red. Example, revolutionary red representation, and among other things. So that's all for the Torrance creativity framework. Thank you.
Good day, everyone. So, during this part of the discussion, we will talk about the CPS, or what is creative problem solving. So, creative problem solving is an intentional process for solving problems and discovering opportunities. It espouses the use of creativity, hence, creative problem solving, in coming up with solutions which are not only novel, unique, new, original, but practical as well. So we create creative solutions that are new, unique, pero useful saja, and in real life situations, approaching a problem or a challenge in an imaginative and innovative way. So that is creative problem solving. This involves breaking down a problem to understand it, generating ideas to solve the problem, and evaluating those ideas to find the most effective solutions. So, when there is a problem, there is solution, and there is many solutions, but you need to find the most effective solution to come up with. Then, in the 1950s, Alex Osborne described this process in his book Applied Imagination. He also coined the term brainstorming. And Osborne opened up the process in the public domain, which meant anyone can use it. So dili niya iyayara, iyang gi-open to the public, and public can use it. And over the years, countless people have utilized the CPS in various fields and endeavors. So Osborne's checklist, the origin of classical brainstorming, is the root of creative problem solving. Then there are a variety of general structures, which is first we define the problem, so we need to know what the problem is. Then generate possible solutions, so we create solutions. Select and implement the best. So in this countless possible solution, we need to select which is best, or which we can use urgently, or we use effectively, apply na nato, and which can be found extensively in several different academic traditions. In its most extended and formalized form, it has 6 stages, which is shown below, each with a divergent and convergent phase. When we say divergent, we include the divergent thinking, which is the process of solving a problem by employing ways that differ from commonly used or existing strategies. When we say divergent techniques, we think beyond the ordinary, we think unique ways to solve a problem. So that is divergent. Then we say convergent thinking, it uses logic or reasoning. When we divergent thinking, we use our imagination. Then when we use the convergent thinking, we use the logic or reasoning, or we use the practical ways to identify and assess the best solution from a set of options. Convergent thinking adds criteria to brainstorming ideas in order to turn them into actionable innovations. Like, basin creative ra kaayo inyong solutions nga dili na dyan siya kanang tinuod or real life, that we cannot apply it in real life situation, kay like kung ano siya kanang creative ra kaayo, like when you want to create green kanang good for the environment nga gasoline, then imuhang solution is like, what if we try ketchup, or what if we try mustards, or like what if pwede data maka-power sa electricity using like a pineapple. So creative ra kayo yung solution, but is not kanang logical na, so we use the convergent thinking na. Then however, more recent publications seem more interested in focusing on procedure and technique issues with less weight in the full elaboration of this structure. Then we have Van Gundy's description, who is Van Gundy is a specialist in the field of creativity and innovation. The illustration here shows the brief skeleton of a very rich process, showing it in its full 6x2 stages. We have stage 1, mess finding, stage 2, data finding, 3, problem finding, 4, idea finding, 5, solution finding, and lastly 6, acceptance finding. So we have stage 1, mess finding. Sensitize yourself for issues that need to be tackled. And they sensitize, scan, or search for the issues or the concerns, challenges, opportunities that need to be tackled. And we identify and acknowledge what's the mess that needs cleaning up, or the situation that demands attention, like for example in mess finding, like if you're a scholar student, then maintain ka grades, then there is one specific subject na murag alanganin ng imong grado, then that is the mess that we need to tackle, or that is the concern or the challenge that we need to be tackled. If that grade is kanang makaapekto sa imong scholarship, then we will apply the divergent and convergent techniques. The divergent techniques include wouldn't it be nice if, and wouldn't it be awful if brainstorming. Brainstorming involves openly discussing and debating ideas and topics, and then to identify desirable outcomes and obstacles to be overcome. For example, wouldn't it be nice nga makapasar ko ani nga dako akong grado, or wouldn't it be nice if makagraduate ko to be top or na kay kan title, then wouldn't it be nice if I take the LET exam I will be the top notcher, and wouldn't it be awful if kana sila tanang mga classmate is nakapasar din ako ang lowest or wala gani kapasar, and wouldn't it be awful if my grade will drop, then malose nun yung scholarship, that kind. Then we identify desirable outcomes and obstacles to be overcome. So yung mga obstacle is that one specific subject na naglisod ka og pasar or langan ni mong grado, then we need to find a solution for that specific obstacle. So we already know what is our mess, hence mess finding. Then we have our conversion techniques include the identification of hotspots or highlighting, expressed as a list of in what ways mights and selection in terms of ownership criteria, problem owners' motivation and ability to influence it, and outlook criteria, urgency, familiarity, stability. So when we in what ways might I pass these exams, or in what ways might I ma-increase sa imong grado, so you need to study hard, then you need to review, you need to research furthermore, and selection in terms of ownership criteria, like problem owners motivation and ability to influence it. So like imong motivation in nga subject, like there is kay murag kaning ka subject ka kanang di kayo ka motivated nga mo learn kas kanang lisudan ka or like na so maapektuhan jud lagi. So we already learned nga a student motivation affects their learning, so like in that subject di ka kaayo motivated, so mo na nga na imong grado. Then outlook criteria, urgency, familiarity, stability, like. Then the next stage is data finding, where we gather information about the problem. We uncover and collect information, knowledge, facts, feelings, ideas, or thoughts about the mess. Since in stage 1, we identify what is our mess, or we need obstacles that we need to be tackled. Then, what information do you have regarding the situation, or what else do you need to know? Then, to begin, we analyze those items we currently know, or we currently are aware of, and that may have na-impact sa problem, like in your grades, like problems, any obstacle that you need to be addressed. Then we proceed by containing the information relevant to that said problem. Next, we have stage 3, which is problem finding. When we convert a fuzzy statement of the problem into a broad statement more suitable for idea finding. Like in the thesis, we have a statement of the problem nga kanang mafokusan na to, which is the heart of the situation, or the center of the situation that we need to find a solution for. Then we have our divergent techniques, which includes asking why, etc., the repeatable questions of the 5 W's, and how, like nganong naglisod ka ani nga subject, then nganong nag-fail ka ani nga subject, nganong kayo kasabot ani nga topic, like the series of whys. Then we have convergent techniques, which includes highlighting again, then reformulation of problem statements to meet the criteria that they contain only one problem and no criteria, and selection of the most promising statement. So again, we will reformulate the problem statements so that they contain only one problem. Like pinato ka ng daghanon kay one at a time lang, like a problem. So only one problem and no criterion, and selecting the most promising statement that we can find. That concludes my part, so the next stages will be discussed by the next.
So the fourth stage in to have a creative problem solving is the idea finding. So you will generate as many ideas as possible. Divergence using any of a very wide range of idea generating techniques. The general rules of classic brainstorming, such as deferring judgment, are likely to underpin all of this. Convergence can again involve hotspots or mind mapping, the combining of different ideas and a short listing of the most promising handful, perhaps with some thought for the more obvious evaluation criteria but not over-restrictive. So in this stage, you will generate ideas as many as you can that has a kanang relevant information sa imuhang problem. So with those kanang ideas nga imong ma-generate, so you will make a short list with the ideas. So that to mag-involve na pod og kanang mag-mind mapping ka, combining of different ideas nga imuhang na-gather, and imuhan is siyang i-short list para na kay makapilian in order to come up with a better solution sa problem. So after nimo maghimo og short list sa imuhang ma-ideas na na-gather, the stage 5 will kanang musod, so which is the solution finding. So in this stage, you will generate and select obvious evaluation criteria using an expansion or contraction cycle, and develop, which may include combining the shortlisted ideas from idea finding as much as you can in the light of these criteria. Then offer the best of these improved ideas. An example is using comparison tables. So just like what I said a while ago, that in order to come up with a better solution sa problem, so you will generate many ideas as you can. So if ma-generate na to nimo mga ideas, maghimo kag mga short list para adto, then imo silang i-compare to nimo tong imong mga ideas nga na-generate to come up for the best solution sa problem. Kay with those ideas nga imuhang na-generate, naay possibility adto nga na-jud adto ang solution and even ang best solution sa problem. So, stage 6, the acceptance finding. So, how can these suggestions you have just selected be made up to standard and put into practice? Shun negativity and continue to apply deferred judgment. Problems are exposed to be solved, not to dishearten progress. Action plans are better developed in small groups of 2 to 3 rather than in a large group unless you particularly want commitment by the whole group. Particularly for people problems, it is often worth developing several alternative action plans. Possible techniques include 5 W's and H, implementation checklists, consensus mapping, and potential problem analysis or the PPA. So, in this stage, kanang kuan, the acceptance finding, you will accept the kuan, the evaluation that you have sa imuhang na-generate nga mga ideas sa imuhang pag-solve sa problema. So, since nakahibaw na ka sa issue, naka-gather na kag mga information sa problema, naka-generate na kag mga ideas nga naay relevant sa kanang problem, then you come up with a solution. Then so the last stage in the acceptance finding, you will accept the evaluation that you have. So problems are exposed to be solved. So ang problema daw is needed to be solved, not to dishearten progress, not to hinder the progress nga ma-solve ang problem. So action plans are better developed in small groups. So ang action kono or ang mga plano nga para ma-solve ang problema is mas better kono if gamay ra ang grupo nga mag-gather adto para sa ma-solve ang problem kaysa sa large group, which is in my idea sad nga mas better jud pud og small group ra mo nga mag-solve sa problem kay mas better pa siya and many ways pa mo nga makuan and less pa mo o consume sa time sa pag-gather sa mga ideas. So there are also alternative action plans nga pwede nimo himuon para mas easier nimo nga ma-generate ang kanang mga ideas and to evaluate those problems in a possible and easier way para nimo. So there are other model for problem solving. So those 6 stages are not dili lang tumao ang pwede nimo sundon in order to create a creative problem solving. There are also other model nga gi-propose para sa problem solving. So which is the Bransford's ideal model. So there are 5 steps nga iyahang gi-illustrate para sa model ni Bransford's which is the ideal. So the first is identify the problem. So kanang aning first na step is kuanam ni siya, dili na ni siya angay nga i-explain pa siya. It's because I know nga kuan na mo anhi kanang hanas na mo an makasabot na mo diretso. So di ba before we will kanang gather ideas, before we will kanang solve the problem, so we should first identify the problem. Kaya unsa man nato pag solve sa isa ka problema kung dili nato i-identify if unsa jud ang main nga problem. So the second is refine the problem through thinking about it and sorting out the relevant information. So di ba since na-identify naman nimo ang problem, so kanang di ba maghuna-huna na ka og unsay mga better nga solutions, alternative action plans nga imong buhaton para ma-solve og dali ang isa ka problema. So para mas better nga kanang maka-come up kag mga ideas nga mas easier nga pag-solve sa problem, so you will sort out those relevant information nga imuhang na-gather. So therefore, the third step is explore solutions through looking at alternatives, brainstorming, and checking out different points of view. So, nakabantay mo nga, di ba, sa ato ang kanang high school pa ta, ang niabot tag college, then, di ba, i-group ta, then tagaan tag usa ka topic or isa ka problem nga atong mag-brainstorming ta in order to come up or kanang different ideas, generate ideas nga na relevant information adto nga certain topic or problem. So, kaning brainstorming jud is a big help pud ni si Ja, and then kaning mga alternatives nga atong makuha, then sa atong mga different points of view so adto pud ta makakuha sa kanang mga makakam up tag mga ideas nga uno inganhiun di ay. So kanang mas better jud og kanang nakay kauban pag inig come up og mga solution sa problema kay mas dali bitaw maka-come up sa solution. So the fourth is act on the strategies. So since nag-brainstorm naman mo sa inyong mga ideas, naghatag na mo sa inyong mga different points of view, so makagather na mo adtog mga strategies nga unsaon nimo pag unsay mga kinaunhan buhaton, unsay mga strategies nga para ma-solve ning problem. So dili lang dapat kanang sa word lang mo maka-generate og mga ideas, dapat i-act po ninyo para kanang kadiba action speaks louder than words baya. So mas better jud og i-act nimo kaysa lang iistorya nimo, kay para pod ma-encourage pod ang uban nga ingani day ang need nga buhaton if maka-encounter sila og ingani nga problem, and in order to generate a creative problem solving. So the fifth step in the Branford's ideal model is look back and evaluate the effects of your activity. So di ba after nato na makita na nato, maplana nato tanan, and nahuman na ta og kanang evaluate sa ato ang nagama nga mga strategies, mga action plans para ana nga problem. So di ba atong i-check if okay na ba ni, if evaluate na to if wa na bay kuwang anhi, naabay need pa nga i-reason anhi, napabay need nga idugang mga information, and kanang og unsay mahimong epekto ani sa mga atong activity nga atong gibuhat. So I think that's the end of the lesson, which is the creative problem solving. So let's move on to the application part. So in application, there are two questions that you need to answer, or you need to share your ideas about this. So the first question is, how important is the four aspects of creative thinking in the process of solving problems? The second is, what activities do you think that can provide an opportunity for the learners to practice their creative thinking and problem solving skills? So if you want to share your kanang ideas, your opinion about these questions, then let us know or message us directly. I believe that these questions will be helpful or useful in understanding more our discussion for today. So any questions or clarifications with this topic? So if wala na, then maura to tanan, and thank you everyone for listening with our discussion. Have a great day.